China warns the United States over a Taiwan visit. Tensions soar. Xi Jinping declares a new era as the trade war escalates. United States tech giants blocked in Beijing's latest crackdown. These headlines, well, they flash across screens from New York to Shanghai. The world holds its breath as these two superpowers circle each other, wary and watchful. The stakes, honestly, have never been higher. The rise of Xi Jinping has really altered the global balance. Once, China seemed content to bide its time. But now, under Xi's command, it strides boldly onto the world stage. The air is thick with uncertainty. The United States and China face off in trade, technology, and the battle for influence everywhere, from Africa to the South China Sea. In this tense landscape, every move matters. A speech from Beijing can rattle markets in London. A policy in Washington can stir protests in Hong Kong. Behind it all stands a single, determined figure: Xi Jinping. Who is he, and what drives him at this pivotal moment? To understand the present crisis, we must first look to the past. The story of Xi Jinping begins in the chaos of Mao's China, a world of hope, fear, and betrayal. Xi Jinping's name is now known worldwide. In China, he is called the core leader, a title reserved for the most powerful. He rules a nation of 1.4 billion with a firm grip. His image appears on banners, books, and phone screens across the country. For many, he is the face of modern China. But Xi's rise was far from certain. He was not born with absolute power. Instead, he climbed through hardship, setbacks, and careful calculation. His life is a story of survival and ambition. Each step, from his childhood to the highest office, shaped the leader he would become. Observers say Xi is different from his recent predecessors. He is more assertive, more willing to take risks. He has pushed China onto a new path, one that challenges the old rules. His vision is bold, and his methods are often uncompromising. Some see him as a reformer, others as a hardliner. To understand what kind of leader Xi is, we must start with his roots. His family background, especially his father's fall from grace, left a deep mark on the young Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping was born in 1953 in Beijing, into a family at the heart of Chinese politics. His father, Xi Jinping, was a hero of the Communist Revolution. He had fought alongside Mao Zedong and helped build the new China. For a time, the Xi family lived in privilege, close to the halls of power. But in Mao's China, fortunes could change overnight. In the early 1960s, Xi Jinping fell out of favor. He was accused of disloyalty and purged from his high office. The family's world collapsed. Xi's father was sent to work in a factory. His mother was forced to denounce him in public. The young Xi saw his family become enemies of the state. This fall from grace was traumatic. The Xi children were shunned by neighbors and classmates. They lived in fear of the next knock on the door. For Xi Jinping, these years taught a hard lesson. Power could vanish in an instant, and loyalty was a dangerous game. As the Cultural Revolution began, things grew even worse. Xi's family would face public humiliation, violence, and years of separation. The scars of these experiences would shape Xi's beliefs and his style of leadership. The Cultural Revolution, launched by Mao in 1966, swept across China. Millions were caught in its storms: intellectuals, officials, even children. Xi Jinping, then a teenager, became one of its victims. His father was imprisoned, his home ransacked, and Xi himself targeted. In 1969, Xi was sent to the countryside, exiled to a poor village in Shanxi. Through hardship, Xi earned the trust of local peasants and joined the Communist Party, shaping the story he tells today. Xi Jinping's time in the countryside, left some pretty deep marks. He learned to survive in a world of scarcity and suspicion. He also saw, firsthand, the power of the Communist Party to shape lives. For Xi, this was not just a lesson in hardship, it was a lesson in politics. He watched how Maoist ideology could honestly destroy families, but also how it could bind people together. He saw the importance of loyalty, both to the party and to its leaders. These experiences made Xi cautious, but also ambitious. He understood that to succeed, he had to adapt. He had to show strength, but also patience. Later on, Xi would tell interviewers that the countryside tempered him. He spoke of learning to eat bitterness, to accept suffering as a path to strength. This idea really became central to his view of leadership. He wanted to show that he, just like China itself, could endure and overcome any challenge. This background shaped Xi's style as a leader. He is careful, disciplined, and relentless. He puts the party above all else, and he believes that only strong, unified leadership can protect China from chaos and humiliation. After Mao's death, China began to change. The party loosened its grip, and new opportunities appeared. Xi Jinping seized them. He returned to Beijing and entered Tsinghua University, which is, one of China's best schools. There, he studied chemical engineering, but honestly, his real education was in politics. Xi reconnected with his father, who regained some power during the reform era. The family's name, which was once a curse, became an asset again. Xi used his background carefully. He started his career in modest roles: party secretary in poor counties, mayor of small cities. He made connections, avoided scandals, and earned a reputation for getting things done. Xi's rise was steady, not flashy. He moved from province to province, always learning, always listening. In Fujian, he focused on economic growth. In Zhejiang, he battled corruption. By the time he reached Shanghai, he was seen as a leader who understood both the old party ways and the demands of a modern economy. In 2007, Xi made his final leap. He joined the top leadership in Beijing. 5 years later, he became General Secretary of the Communist Party, and soon after, President of China. His journey from exile to power was complete. Since taking power, Xi Jinping has transformed China at a breathtaking pace. He launched the Chinese dream, promising national renewal and global respect. His government built new highways, high-speed rail, and entire cities almost overnight. The Belt and Road Initiative extended China's influence across Asia, Africa, and beyond. Xi also pushed China into the digital age. Under his rule, China became a leader in artificial intelligence, 5G, and e-commerce. Cities filled with surveillance cameras and cashless payments. The government promoted Made in China 2025, aiming for dominance in key technologies. At the same time, Xi tightened control over the internet and media, insisting that the party must guide all aspects of life. Economically, China grew more powerful. Its currency, the yuan, challenged the dollar. Its companies, like Huawei and TikTok, became global giants. But Xi's vision was not just about wealth. He wanted China to be strong, respected, and united. He cracked down on corruption, but also on dissent. His anti-corruption campaign removed rivals and tightened his grip. Xi's China is ambitious and confident, but it is also more controlled and less open than before. The world watches as the country moves forward at breakneck speed, reshaping the global order in the process. As China rose, so did tensions with the United States. At first, the two countries worked together, trade boomed, and students crossed the Pacific in both directions. But under Xi, competition has turned to rivalry. Each side sees the other as a threat and as a test of its own future. The trade war began with tariffs and counter-tariffs. Soon, it spread to technology. The United States accused Chinese firms of stealing secrets and banned them from key markets. China responded by boosting its own tech industries and restricting foreign access. The battle for dominance in artificial intelligence, chips, and 5G became fierce. Taiwan emerged as the most dangerous flashpoint. Xi calls reunification a historic mission. The United States promises to defend Taiwan's democracy. Military maneuvers, war games, and harsh words now fill the news. The risk of conflict feels real, even as both sides insist they want peace. Global influence is also at stake. China builds ports and railways worldwide, while the United States strengthens old alliances. Each side tries to win friends, set rules, and shape the future. The rivalry between Xi's China and the United States could define the 21st century. What does Xi Jinping's journey tell us about China's future? Experts offer varied views. The historian Rana Mitter says Xi's background gives him an instinct for control, but also for survival. Chinese scholar Wu Qiang argues that Xi's embrace of Maoist ideas is both a strength and a gamble. He believes only a strong party can hold China together, Wu says, but that means less space for new voices. Western analysts like Elizabeth Economy see Xi as a disruptor. He has broken with the old consensus, she notes, and set China on a more assertive, sometimes confrontational path. For many in China, Xi's rule brings pride and stability. For others, it means fear and uncertainty. Xi Jinping's story is one of endurance, ambition, and adaptation. He rose from exile to the heights of power, always learning from hardship. His leadership is reshaping not only China, but the world. As rivalry with the United States deepens, the choices Xi makes will affect us all. His past, marked by struggle and survival, guides his vision of China's future, for better or for worse.